This is the new Ducati Panigale V4. I'm at the Chang International Circuit, a MotoGP level circuit in Thailand. And I cannot wipe the smile off my face because what a day I've had riding this motorcycle. I want to tell you more about it. But before that, let me give you a full disclaimer. This is the first time that I'm riding a liter class superbike at a huge racetrack like the Chang International Circuit. So it's been quite an interesting experience for me. We are at the Ducati Riding Experience, or the DRE, here in Chang, and we've had 3 sessions on the motorcycle. We started with sports mode and then we switched to race mode, and I will go more in detail about it a little later in the video. For now, rather, I just want to say, let me just get more deeper into what this experience has been all about, because wow, it's just been phenomenal. First, let me give you a quick rundown on what the new Panigale is all about. It has a ballistic Desmosedici Stradale V4 engine that makes 216 bhp. It has new camshafts, a new cooling system, and it revs up to 14,000 rpm. The bike also gets a new front frame with lateral stiffness reduced by 40% that makes the bike more planted around bumpy sections of the racetrack. Complementing the frame is the new double-sided swing arm for better feel from the rear tire, as well as a new rear suspension for better mechanical grip and bump absorption. Brembo's new high pure brake calipers are what offers stupendous stopping power, and then there's the comprehensive electronic suite. You can tailor the engine configuration, ABS intervention levels, the amount of give that the traction control system offers, and even the level of damping that the Olean system offers. Additionally, there's the new Race ECBS, or combined braking system. Even if you apply the front brake, the system automatically applies a little bit of the rear brake, which helps you tighten the line around a corner and quickly position the bike to pick it up and accelerate out of the corner, thereby saving time. And now, let's get to the business end of the motorcycle, shall we? But my God, this engine is an absolute star in this motorcycle. The acceleration, the way the speeds just keep climbing on the speedo. Oh my God, I've never been so fast on a motorcycle ever. I think I saw about 270 before I had the courage to brake. But I know some people have been braking at 280, 285 kilometers an hour. So you can just imagine the kind of speed that the motorcycle gets up to. And speaking of speed, the way these things just eats up straights. Oh, I have no words to say. Seriously, this is such a phenomenally fast motorcycle. And the best part is when you see the revs going past 10,000, 11,000, 12,000 RPM, and it's just pulling and pulling and pulling, and your eyes are going wide. They're like, wow, what is this performance? I think this is one of the most surreal experiences I've had in my life on a motorcycle like this. And as I mentioned, first time on a liter class bike, the performance just blows you away. But the best part is, even with all of that, the electronics are so good that, you know, it helps you lay out the power down when you're exiting out of corners. It never feels as if it's going to bite you back. If you've read about the 2018 Panigale, now that was a beast. Well, this is a lot more toned down, a lot more user-friendly. And for somebody like me who's riding it for the first time, it took probably a couple of laps for me to get used to the power delivery and understand it. And that I'm saying I started in sport. So even in race mode, for that matter, it's all manageable. I started to enjoy it a lot more. And I think that's kudos to all the techno wizardry that's packed in this motorcycle. So for a newbie like me, I think the performance was attainable, if I could ever say that word. But again, that's all down to the electronics on the motorcycle. But on the whole, this engine is absolutely bonkers and one of my favorite out there. The stellar engine aside, what makes the Panigale V4 such a star is the fluid handling. Let's talk about the handling now. Again, what a communicative chassis that Ducati has made. You have so much faith and confidence in this whole motorcycle when you're pushing this bike around corners. And there were a couple of instances where I went too deep in a corner, braked a little too hard and a little too late. You can lean on the chassis, you can lean on the electronics and really trust it and push it in a corner. And I took a couple of lines around corners that were not ideal because I was still learning the circuit. But this motorcycle here had my back. There were a couple of instances where I ran off onto the curbs, and the suspension also soaked it quite well. So on the whole, on a racetrack, I think this motorcycle is going to be a good teacher, so to say, because you can take a few lines off, you can probably mess up a few corners, and it'll still help you correct it. So the forgiveness that they've sort of engineered into the motorcycle is more than welcome for especially somebody at my skill levels. So that is something that's really phenomenal. I also want to make a special mention about the tires, the new DRB Supercorsas. Oof, so much grip and feedback. I think, again, it goes down to the way Pirelli has worked with Ducati in developing the tire for this motorcycle, and goes to show that when you have the right combination of a good chassis, great tires, you can work wonders on a motorcycle like this, on a track like this. The best, however, was saved for the last when we shifted from Sport to Race A and Race B modes. This sharpened the throttle response further, made the acceleration more urgent, and also stiffened the electronic suspension. To add to it, the ECBS system worked like a charm and allowed me to bring the bike to the apex sooner and power out quicker while working silently in the background. Also the brakes, the new Brembo high piers, it's like hitting a wall. There's so much bite and feedback that you can brake later and later and later. So in the last session, I could confidently brake a lot more later and lean on the brakes, and my word, I know in the hands of a professional rider, you can brake a lot more later and even more later than where I was braking. But on the whole, the brakes are absolutely mind-bogglingly good. Working in conjunction with a well-calibrated cornering ABS system, the brakes are simply incredible. I've never braked so hard and so deep at a racetrack, or even trail brake so easily ever in my life. So I love what Ducati has done with the ergonomics of the motorcycle. It feels a lot more roomier now. I'm 5 feet and 11 inches, and as you can see, there's sufficient room for me to scoop behind and set myself for a corner. A lot of purchase for your knee. As you can see, this new tank offers a lot of room for you to latch on and hang off the motorcycle. Again, at the same time, the bars feel nice and very comfortably and easily within reach. And as you can see, you can put your chin on the tank over here and wrap yourself inside this bubble. So again, the pairing, as I mentioned, it works really well. So at 260, 270 kilometers an hour, you're really nicely shielded from all the wind. So all the advancements, all the technology, all the aerodynamic hard work that Ducati has put in, it clearly shows on the racetrack. And last but not the least, let's just step back and soak in the sight of the beautiful Panigale V4. I mean, will you just look at it? You see, the design of the bike is sharper, sleeker, and compact compared to the outgoing Panigale V4. It's also more focused thanks to the large winglets, cuts on the side fairing, and the sleek rear. Alright, to sum up the Ducati Panigale V4, this is an example of what happens when engineering, technology, and design, all of that comes together to give you a motorcycle that's at a really, really high level. But what I really enjoyed, rather really appreciate about Ducati is that they've made it a lot more friendlier and a lot more accessible than the first Panigale that came off. So yes, it is wildly capable. We were barely, I believe, scratching the surface of the potential of this motorcycle. More time with the motorcycle would have been anyways more than welcome. I would spend a week here if I had to. But yeah, this is such a lovely motorcycle. If you are into superbikes, if you want to have a great time on the racetracks in India, I think this motorcycle should be up there on your shopping list. I know it's an expensive motorcycle, but think about it. Would you really care when this motorcycle really appeals to your heart? Money should not matter in that case.